friends, and welcome to another day of Crochet and Crime. My name is Hazy Baby, and I crochet, yeah, that's me crocheting, my imaginary crocheting, while talking about crime. And yes, today is the 6th of May 2023, and I had yesterday off because I needed it. Everybody needs a day off, at least every now and then. So I had yesterday off, not from crochet. I crocheted myself the beginnings of a pair of overalls because I love me some overalls. So I started to crochet a pair of those for the first time, so that should be fun, and we'll see what they look like in the end. If you'd like to see me doing that, then, you know, write a comment and I will crochet them and upload it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I love it. I love crochet. It's my favorite thing to do. And talking is my second favorite thing to do. Okay, so cool. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. Welcome. Please like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, then the video starts in a second. If you're not on YouTube and you're on TikTok, sorry, sad for you. I will be uploading snippets of the whole video a little bit later, so you can have a look at that and then head on over to my channel and subscribe. If you would like to win a blanket, because I am making one that you can win. His name is Raymond. Isn't he beautiful? And I am in the process of making him. And if you would like to win Raymond, then all you have to do is go to my channel, subscribe and comment. That's it. Just subscribe and comment, and then you'll go into the draw, and the first 1,000 subscribers goes into the draw if they comment, and then I will be drawing it out. Well, I only have 100 subscribers at the moment, so go on over before it runs out. You know, you've only got 800 and something left. Anyway, like I said, isn't he beautiful? If you would like to make your own Raymond, then all you have to do is head on over to my channel and have a look at my crochet alongs. Yeah, they're on my TikTok channel, so you have to go to my TikTok channel to watch them individually, but I do upload them once a week. I'm thinking about doing that twice a week from now on. Anyway, long story short, let's get into it, and I'll see you in a second. Thank you again. Thanks for the follow. Thanks. Okie dokie, artichokey. So let's get this day started. So today, like I said, is the 6th of May 2023, and I am working on Lillian. It is a Saturday, so I will be talking a lot about murder today because I love to talk about murder on Saturdays. But first, before I talk about that, I would like to talk about kind of like a scam. So I missed my Fraud Friday yesterday, and I will be taking Friday off and then working on Sunday instead. Like I said, I just needed the day off. I think we all need a day off every now and then, and apparently my every now and then was yesterday. So yes, so my first story is kind of a fraud story, but I don't know whether it's 100% technically a fraud story, but let me tell you about it anyway. So here we go. So an investigation is launched after an unregistered doctor worked in the emergency department for 6 days. Yes, you heard that correctly, an unregistered doctor. So Australian Health Registrar has launched an investigation after an unregistered male doctor worked for 6 days in a South Australian public hospital emergency department. So kudos to him. I think I'm going to go into the middle. Oh, wait. Yeah, hold on. Into the middle of these. There we go. And I'm going to do 3. Yeah, so the doctor who was trained overseas was registered in Australia in the past, but previously faced disciplinary action and worked at the Port Augustus Hospital between April 24th and May 2nd before being removed from the premises. So he knew he wasn't allowed to be working there, but he chose to work there nonetheless. 3, 4... 5, 6, what a horrible thing. The doctor is believed to have treated 15 patients over that 6-day period. So really not that many patients, but still, I don't think I would like to be treated by a doctor who was currently, you know, not registered. So the hospital's now following up with those patients to discuss the care needs and decide if a follow-up appointments are necessary. Because, like, you know, he wasn't a registered doctor. So there's that. So the Flinders and Upper North Local Health Network Chief Executive Craig Packard. What a freaking title. Is that printed on like a plaque? Jesus, that's a long ass title. Imagine that being printed on like a plaque or your door. Flinders and Upper North Local Health Network Chief Executive Craig Packard has issued an apology to anyone affected. On behalf of our service, I apologise to all the patients who have been in contact with this unregistered doctor, he said. The incident should not have occurred and I am deeply sorry. Yeah, you're right, Jeffrey. It shouldn't have occurred, but it did. So now what are you going to do about it? What's your plan there, Jeff? So the doctor was offered a place as an intern prior to the arrival of his registration. He was granted provisional registration with conditions until May 2nd. The supervising doctor was also stood down pending an investigation because at the very least that is complacency. At the very least. So, yeah. The matter has been referred to the South Australian Police and the AHPRA and other investigating bodies for further action. And an investigation has been launched under the Criminal Offences Unit. So anyone who attended the Port Augustus Hospital Emergency Department between those dates, so those dates again, I will give them to you, were April 24th to May 2nd. They would like you to call a number, which is the Facility for Regional Health Services on 0886 687500. If you are overtly concerned. I mean, he only treated a handful of patients, so I doubt anyone is at any kind of serious risk. So, does it go 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it's what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Otherwise, it ends up looking janky. Jankies! Alrighty, so now let's move on to some murder. But how bloody horrible is that he was able to... I mean, that's why they do a provisional license. I mean, but someone's going to be in some deep trouble for not doing their due diligence, that's for sure. That is for shizzle. Okay, in between there. Alrighty, let's move on to our... Nah, I don't want to move on to murder yet. I'm going to talk about a man who's been caught on camera for being tased by police after a Townsville rampage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How cool is that? So, this is my neck of the woods up here in North Queensland. Hey, was I doing single crochets? Yes, I was. So, let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. He's not named Jed. So, a knife-wielding man has been tased by police after going on a rampage filmed by onlookers in North Queensland. So, police have been called to the Ross River Road in Townsville after a man was seen running around with a big, long, filleted knife just after 11 a.m. yesterday. So well done. The video shows Queensland police officers tasering him twice before arresting him. Look, I know it's not funny, but it's pretty funny. I mean, and the shopping centre in which he was tasered, I used to work at, so it does not surprise me that that was the shopping centre in which he was tasered. Look, there's some bright and sparkly characters there for sure. For sure. So, yeah, so officers first asked the man to drop the knife, but he refused. So they tasered him after he didn't stop. No member of the public was hurt or a police were hurt, and the man was taken into custody and now faces multiple charges. A knife-wielding maniac. Anyway, so that's our short snippet of a little bit of a hilarious story. I mean, I know it's not that funny. He's wielding a knife and running around. But still, like, you know, it's pretty funny. I mean, I find it comical. Okie dokie, artichokey. Let's move on to our next story. To the very next story. Do, 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 do. Okay, so for my long-term listeners, people who have been listening to my channel for a while, this is an update. Do you remember Hatchet Man? The man who tried to persuade his girlfriend to get back with him via a hatchet. Which, well, that was his reasoning anyway. He told the court that, you know, I was just trying to get Shazza back, you know, and I just bought the hatchet to persuade her. Meanwhile, and then she was saved by a bunch of good Samaritans after he had her on the ground and he was choking her, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he has now been jailed, yay! But he's been jailed for 14 years after attacking an ex-girlfriend. So a man was found guilty of attempted murder after attacking his girlfriend with a hatchet, has been sentenced for 14 years in jail. So that's good. I mean, that's a good outcome. Hold on a second, peeps. What have I done here? Oh, that's right. So Good Samaritans, like I said, went to the help of Maria. So that was the woman that was being attacked after Cameron Bardek, big dick, annoying assholeness, ambushed his ex-girlfriend in the Brisbane CBD car park on July 2020. 6. So Bucci, which was Maria spotted Dick hiding next to her vehicle after she finished work at law firm and was told to get in the car, but she refused to. Good girl. She was like, nah, bros, I ain't going with you. Ain't nobody got time for that. She was like, you scary. I'm not going anywhere with you. So she's a good girl. Good girl, good girl. Hold on, give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So she was like, "Hell no, I won't go," and so she didn't. She didn't go with him. He said he was going to kill her, and that's when she saw the axe, is what she told the jury. He hit her about 3 times with the hatchet before choking her as a member of the public intervened after he heard her screaming. So the jury was shown iPhone footage of Mr. Dick on top of Maria with his hands around her throat and multiple people trying to separate them. So Dick, 32, was sentenced after Maria on Friday tearfully read her victim impact statement in the Brisbane Supreme Court. After the worst day of my life, she now suffers PTSD, nightmares, trust issues with the opposite sex, and had abandoned her legal profession because it would be so difficult to work in a legal profession after having that happen to you. I totally 100% agree, and I hope so she gets some sort of victim's compensation, because that will be with her for the rest of her days. For the rest of her life, she will have nightmares dealing with that drama. So IT worker David Keith Struggers, who was struck in the hand by the hatchet, punched Bardek in the head and kidneys in an unsuccessful attempt to stop the attack. And then others ran in, because he was like Hulk smash rampagey, and broke it up. He pled apparently guilty to an alternate charge of causing grievous bodily harm. Because, like I said, he's just a coward, and yeah. And then he also pled guilty to unlawful wounding of some of the Good Samaritans who helped separate her. A jury found him guilty of attempted murder on Thursday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he was sentenced yesterday, on Friday, making Justice Glenn Martin handed down his sentence on Friday, making a serious violence offence declaration, ensuring that Bardek would serve at least 80% of his term before he would be eligible for parole. So yeah, if you need help or you know anyone who needs help regarding to domestic violence, please contact 1-800-RESPECT. That's 1-800-737-732. And if you're in immediate danger, please call 000, because that's their job. Their job is to help in an emergency. So, only people who should be calling 000 are people who are needing help straight away. It is not, for pranking or telephone calling or whatever. You can get serious fines too. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus, I thought we were old enough now that we were gone with the days where people, did all that stupid stuff. Oh, so it's going to be so pretty. I'm in love with Lillian. I'm in love with the girl. A crochet girl named Lillian. Oh, Lillian. Okie dokie, artichoke. Let's move on to the next story. I'm saying that a lot today. So a suspect in killing 8 people in a Siberian mass shooting was arrested. Okay, so this one's not out of Australia, but it's still murder, and it's still tragedy, and it's still so sad. So Siberian police said they have arrested a suspect in a drive-by shooting attack that killed at least 8 and wounded 14 people. The nation's second such mass shooting in 2 days. Something is happening in that country. So in a statement, police said that the man identified by the initials UB was arrested early Friday near the central Siberian town of... I'm not even going to attempt that. Listen, if you want to look it up, you go look it up. It starts with K, and it sounds like... That's what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that's what my domestic... dyslexic brain read. My domestic dyslexic brain. Said that 3 times over. Alrighty, about 100 kilometers from Belgrade. That one I don't know how to say. The arrest followed an all-night search by hundreds of police who sealed off the area of the south of Belgrade where the shooting took place late on Thursday. So they shut down an entire frickin' country. 100 police officers plus went looking for this ass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How cool is that they shut down an entire country to go looking for this jerkwad? So cool. Anyway, I heard some tack 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 sound recalled Melin Parik, a resident of Dubona, a village Dubona. A village near the town of Parik said that he first thought villagers were shooting to celebrate a childbirth, which is a tradition apparently in Siberia. That sounds super dangerous. Just saying, yay, we have child, boom, 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 yay, child, we've got kid in our house now. Let's let off guns. That's a terrible Siberian accent speaking English, and I apologize immensely for this, but it is what it is. So, yeah, but it wasn't, and it is a shame. I agree, Parik. It is a shame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They say the kid killed them for no reason, and they say there was an argument here at the center village, and then he went home, he took his arms and came back to kill them. So, they mean his weapons? He took weapons and came back to kill them? Anyway, he killed a bunch of people, which is the important take home here, though. He didn't believe, so the passerby said that he didn't believe it. If it were true, why did he go to the neighboring village to kill? So another villager also said they heard gunshots late last night when they came to his home, and he could smell the smell of gunpowder, and I heard the noise from the direction of the school, and we saw people laying on the ground. Said the man, we refused to give his name because he feared for his own safety. The attacker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shot randomly at people in 3 villages near some 50 kilometers from the south capital of RTS. Siberian Interior Minister. Look, guys, can you just stop having all of these long ass titles that have every word in the alphabet in them? Okay, you're a minister for something, whatever that something is. Can you just be a minister? Do you have to be Siberian Interior Minister blah 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 blah? Anyway, his name is Bratslov, called Thursday's drive-by shooting a terrorist act, which is fair, and hundreds of special forces, police and helicopter units, as well as ambulance, were sent to the area, which has now been sealed off as police have searched for the attacker. The shooting came a day after a 13-year-old boy used his father's gun to kill 8 fellow students and a guard at a school in Bulgaria. The bloodshed has sent shockwaves through the nation, which is currently scarred by wars and unused to mass murders. Though Siberia is awash with weapons left over from the wars of the 1990s, Wednesday's school shooting was the first in the country's modern history. The last mass shooting was before this week was in 2013, when a war veteran killed 13 people in a central Siberian village after his cheese fell off its cracker, basically. He thought he was still in a war zone. So, really, we can't be blaming him too much, since he didn't have any autonomy over his own memories and all of that jazz. It's very upsetting. Yeah, you don't know what PTSD is like, and it's during one of those episodes you believe that everything is real. So, not that I'm saying it's okay, I'm just saying that I can appreciate the thought process, or the delusions of someone with PTSD. Anyway, so Siberian students wearing masks and wearing black masks and carrying flowers filled the streets around the school in central Bulgaria as they paid silent homage to the peers killed earlier today. Thousands lined up to lay flowers, light candles, and leave toys to commemorate the 9 people who were killed on Wednesday morning's shooting. Siberian teachers' unions announced protests and strikes to warn about a crisis in the school system and demand changes. The tragedy also sparked the debate about the general state of the nation following decades of crisis and conflicts, whose aftermath have created a state of permanent insecurity and instability, with deep political divisions. The same day, authorities moved to boost gun control as police urged citizens to lock up their guns and keep them away from their children. I mean, just get rid of guns. They're bad. The government ordered 2-year memorandum on short barrel guns and tougher control for people with guns and shooting grounds, and tougher sentences for people who enable minors to get a hold of a gun. So access. So they're saying that, if you don't, for example, I'm not sure how many of my listeners are Australian, but I'd say a fair few of you, so you would know. But other countries don't know this. Australians, not only do we have really tough gun laws, we have really tough restriction laws around guns. So, for example, if you do own a gun, it can't be an automatic weapon. There is no automatic weapons here in Australia, basically. And hold on. Your guns and the ammunition must be stored separately in a lockable container or case, like a foot locker, like a proper locker with a gun, like a gun safe. It can't just be some random, safety area. They have to be locked. Everyone has to be registered, so you have to be a registered gun owner. There's just so many laws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even farmers and people who need guns, they're restricted to the type of gun they can buy. So, our laws are pretty strict. And I just feel like there was a lot of backlash when we first brought in these laws. There was a lot of people getting all upsetty spaghetti about it. And as the years have gone on, really the only people who have access to guns here are criminals. and they have to pay through the nose. And so you very rarely see shootings, and if you do see shootings, it's usually just criminals killing other criminals for whatever reason that they kill them for. So it's just the criminal underworld, really, and then they're paying an absolute fortune for the guns that they have access to. And we have some pretty strict laws when it comes to if you're caught with a gun. So, I mean, you can get a lot of prison time, even if it is your first offense. We have zero tolerance, basically, is what I'm saying. So, because we just, guns are bad. I don't care what anyone says, and you can argue with me until you're black in the face. I'd say blue in the face, but black in the face, because you'd be just so mad with rage. Because, you know, there's no changing my mind. I honestly believe that they're just not needed. They're really, really, really not needed. But anyway, that's just my position and my stance. And I'm not going to apologize for it. I used to apologize. I used to apologize all the time for my opinions and my stances on things. And then I realized I don't give a fuck. You don't like my thoughts. You don't like what I think. Then just move on. You don't have to be my friend. You don't have to be everyone's friend all the time. So authorities have said that the shooter, whom police identified as not even a name I'm going to attempt, is too young to be charged and tried, and has been placed in a mental institution while his father has been detained on suspicions of endangering public security because his son got a hold of the guns. So police have said that the teen used his father's guns to carry out the attack. He planned it a month in advance, drawing sketches of the classroom, making a list of the children he planned to kill, police said on Wednesday. The boy, who visited shooting ranges with his father and apparently had a code to his father's safe, took 2 guns from the safe where they stored together with the bullets, police said on Wednesday. The shooter, whom the police identified, like I said, has not been given any motives for his actions, and upon entering the school, he first killed the guard, then 3 students in the hallway, then went to the history classroom where he shot the teacher before turning the gun onto the students that were on his list. He then unloaded the gun in the school and called the police on himself, although he'd already been given the alert from the student officials. And he told officers he was a psychopath who needs help to calm down. Oh boy, you are like over calming down. I think we're all guilty. I think each one of us has to take responsibility that we allowed such things to not allow. And I 100% agree with that. And I love the way this country thinks. We've had too much violence for too long, and so it's no wonder that the children copy the models in which they imitate negative models and create a different system of values. And I agree, we should be fixing the problem, not blaming the problem. We can't first create these children and then complain that these children have been created. You know, what did we expect would happen? The country has been in war for years. Or they have access to guns. They have no frontal cortex reasoning. So many reasons, and yet we still try and blame them like they have... Yeah, anyway, like I said, I could rant on for ages, and you guys have heard me rant before. But let's move on, shall we? Let's move on from our Bulgarian shooting to another kind of murder. Wow, so this next one is a bit convoluted. And I want you to bear with me while I try and decipher what is happening. I'm probably going to stuff up a couple of times, but that's okay. I'll get back on track, so never fear. Never fear. Hazy is here. So a Melbourne woman guilty of murder after her husband and ex kill each other at the same time. Yes, you heard that correctly. Her husband and her ex kill each other at the same time. So, let us decipher this. So, Glenn Cassidy arrived at his wife's former boyfriend's home armed with a single bullet and a plan. Just one bullet. Love it. He fired the gun and killed Michael Kaposian. Cassidy never stood trial for the murder because in his final moments of his life, The victim pulled out a knife and fatally stabbed Cassidy, killing him instantly. How cool is that? He was like, if you're killing me, I'm taking you down with me, motherfucker. So Cassidy's wife has been convicted by a jury for Cascapone's murder after prosecutors argued that she formed the plan and had an agreement with her new husband. So Bianca Edmonds was 29 at the time. She was not the driving force behind the crime, her barrister Sharon Lacey told the Victorian Supreme Court on Friday. I beg to differ. Edmund had an understanding about what was going to take place, which had occurred 10 days before the murder on March 3rd. You know what I'm going to do when you're away, Cassidy told her. She was in Darwin at the time, but had plenty of time to change her mind to stop Cassidy from following through. But she did none of these things, the court heard. So Justice Lex Larsley described discussions in the interception phone calls about the murder as a matter of fact. I heard plenty of intercepted phone calls, none of them quite so calm as hers, he said, noting that he had been struck by what he was hearing when he heard it for the first time. Apparently. Chain one. And I'm going to do... puff out your chest, take a deep breath, we're gonna be okay. You got clouds in your mind, just take your time, it's gonna be okay. Stupid TikTok. I hate when that happens. I'm like watching TikTok and then all these songs get stuck in my head. And yes, you're welcome. For the sun in the clouds in the sky, I said it's okay, you're welcome. Anyway, let's move back onto the story. So, Lacey accepted the judge could find that what she was providing was confronting. So, she encouraged and keeping Cassidy's spirits up in pursuit of the agreement. So, I'm a little confused about what is happening, and that's why I said to bear with me, because I'm trying to like read this at the same time as like get it in my head as to exactly what happened. So she told Justice Larson that she couldn't satisfy Elman was on one directing him on what to do. So the family spoke during the hearing saying it was an evil crime committed against their son, brother and uncle. I can't remember what it feels like to not be tired and not grieve, the mother said. She cries into his grave every week and plays his final moments over in her mind every day. I wonder at the terror he would have felt when he realized he was in danger, and I wish we could have saved him. His partner, Sylvia, who was assaulted during the incident, said she lost the chance to start a family with a man she'd chosen to spend the rest of her life with. So Cassidy and Caspina had spoken through the locked security door on the night of their deaths. Caspina, who answered the door with a knife, agreed to unlock it when Cassidy asked to shake his hand. Cassidy went inside and pointed the gun at Caspina's head while he was holding the knife against Cassidy's abdomen when he was fatally shot in the head. Edmund faced a trial 3 times before the unanimous verdict was reached in December of 2022, and the pre-sentence hearing continues. So the woman herself, so basically along the lines, it goes like this. He and her, so her new husband, she made a pact with her new husband that while she was away, he was going to go over there and kill her ex-boyfriend. So the new husband goes over and he knocks on the door and he argues with the ex-boyfriend through the door. Anyway, they have their argument and apparently an agreement was reached or something is what they're suggesting, that there was an agreement that was reached. That's too many stitches in there. just going to go 2, then over 1, and then 2 into here. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, so they must have resolved their issues, or at least they thought they resolved their issues, and he came in through the door he opened the door to him to shake his hand, according to the witness, and the witness was his new wife. So he goes in, he points the gun at the guy's head, and the guy points his knife into the abdomen of the shooter. And sorry, I was just trying to figure out what I did there. And as he is shot in the head, he plunges his knife into the chest cavity of the shooter, killing him. So they both die. And the family of the dead shooting victim, wants repercussions for what had happened to their son. And so they're going after the woman, the ex-girlfriend and wife of the other victim, so they were both victims, because they think she is the quote-unquote mastermind, which she is. So yeah, thank you for bearing with me. That was a bit convoluted, and I was also trying to do that while creating a new pattern. But I think it's pretty. I think that's pretty. Look, so I've got 1 puff, 3, 1 puff, 3, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3, front post, puff, front post, 3. Oh, it sounds like a rap, doesn't it? Sounds like a great song. Alrighty, let's move along. So, a man has been charged after an international student was killed in a Darwin home invasion. So, a man has been charged with the murder after an international student died following a home invasion in Darwin earlier this week. So, Bangladeshi student Ashir Raham, 23, was critically injured by an intruder who police say assaulted him while he was asleep in his home in Milner on Wednesday. So, that's just mean. Poor dude. He was taken to the Royal Darwin Hospital, where he passed away from his injuries yesterday. So he succumbed to his injuries, which is, just absolutely tragic. So Northern Territory Police arrested a 29-year-old man yesterday who has since been charged with the murder. The man has also been charged with aggravated battery and theft. He was denied bail and will face Darwin's local court on May 8th. The alleged attack sparked a combined vigil and protest held by his classmates at the Charles Darwin University. So both federal ministers and students attended the vigil and stopped by the home to pay their respects to the fallen student at the Northern Territory residents' safe home in their homes. It is with a heavy heart that we share the devastating news of the passing of our beloved friend and fellow student, MD Ishaq Haresh, at the Charles Darwin University. Bangladeshi Student Association said in a statement yesterday. He fought bravely in the ICU but sadly succumbed to his injuries at 4:35 p.m. today. Our whole community is shaken by the tragic loss, and I bet his family are absolutely devastated. Because they would be. I mean, he came over here to better himself and ends up being murdered in his own bed by some douche canoe. I mean, so sad. It's tragic. Absolutely tragic. Okay, let's move on to our next story. So our next story is out of WA, and it's actually an update. So I was talking about this story previously. It's about a mother who murdered all 3 of her children. Yep, you heard that correctly. before setting the house ablaze and standing out the front crying that she had murdered her children to save them or something. Anyway, so she's from WA, and she, like I said, murdered all 3 of her children and then burned their bodies to get rid of the evidence, I think. I mean, that's the speculation. So she stabbed, strangled, and suffocated all 3 of her children. So she stabbed her oldest daughter, strangled her middle child, and suffocated her youngest child. Then burned their bodies in a house fire. So she's been sentenced to life behind bars with a minimum non-parole period of 25 years. So Margaret Dale Hawke, 36, pled guilty to 3 counts of murder after killing her 10-year-old daughter and her 2 sons aged 7 and 4 months. So in the family Port Hedland home of July last year. So if you go back to one of my other channels, videos, you will hear all about that. I'm not even sure what day I said it. Just watch them all because I'm that interesting. Also because, you know, why not? Why not? But yes, so she's been sentenced, which is great, and she will be going to prison for a very long time, and hopefully she will have a terrible time in prison and everybody will hate her. I hope. I can only wish. So her fundamental duty of like the only thing that she had to do as a mother was make sure that her children grew up like healthy, safe, and happy. I mean, that's it. That's all she had to do. And like, that's a hard job, don't get me wrong. I am a mum of 2 and it's one hell of a hard job. But I don't know how anyone could do that to their own babies. I don't get it. So the court heard that she strangled her daughter with an electrical cord and stabbed her 8 times in the chest and heart. And then she also strangled and stabbed her 7-year-old son. And he was found with 3 stab wounds in his chest and his neck. Then she tried to drown her infant son but failed and instead smothered him before walking on the beach where she disposed of the knife. After she returned to the family home with her dead children lay, she lit 2 fires and walked around the street as it engulfed by flames. A witness described her as really calm as she watched it burn. Another heard her said, "He's taken everything from me." Hawke then screamed and cried, my babies, we don't have to suffer anymore." Members of the public tried to enter the home to save the children, but it was too dangerous, thank God, because they were already dead. Hawke told police that she didn't know of any other way to help her children before admitting to lighting the fire. "My 3 babies, I hurt my babies, I did this to my babies," she said, and firefighters put out the blaze. Hawke's eldest son's body was found on a mattress in the room in the front of the property. Her daughter and her other son were found in the room in the back, and Hawke was taken to the hospital, later admitted that she had murdered her children. "I don't know why I did it, maybe to stop the pain for all of us," she told the police in an interview in the incident, and the court heard. An arson investigation found the fire was deliberately lit with 2 ignition points in the house. None of the children were found with soot in their respiratory system, indicating that they likely died before the fire was lit. She was sentenced to 2 years and 8 months for the arson alone, to serve concurrently with the murder charges of 25 years. So in total, she got 27 years, and I don't think she'll be eligible for parole. So, yeah, I'm glad that she got that time, but obviously she needs help, and something was not right, because no one goes and kills their babies for no reason. I mean, something is wrong. Something is wrong, and she needs help. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Okie dokie, artichoke. So our very last story today is about an Queensland University student. So another university student, but this time he ingested rat poison while in Taiwan. So it's actually under investigation, and they think that it was no accident that he ingested rat poison. I mean, I don't understand how you could accidentally ingest rat poison, which is probably why they think it was no accident. Common sense would prevail, one would think, but, you know, like my grandma said, common sense may be sensical, but it surely isn't common. You're welcome. For more of my grandma's awesome sayings, please stay tuned. I am full of them. So a family friend of a Queensland University student who unknowingly ingested rat poison in Taiwan is under investigation by the Taiwanese police. So officers have questioned Alex Soroy's friend and barred her from leaving the country after allegedly finding evidence in her home. So officers have questioned her, and Shori, which is the person who ingested the rat poison, arrived at the Princess Alexandra Hospital in Brisbane on Wednesday where he was receiving specialist care. Okay. The 20-year-old marketing and language student in Brisbane was medevaced jet from Taiwan, where he had been on exchange at the time. So I was like, what? I thought he was poisoned in Taiwan. He was poisoned in Taiwan. He was medevaced out of Taiwan back to Australia. He'd been in the hospital in Taiwan, in Taipei, after falling seriously ill from a highly toxic rat poisoning. So Shirley is his name, and he went into hypothermic shock on April 18th. Poor darling. That's rat poisoning is so horrible that when you die from rat poisoning, it is said that the pain, not only do you die from rat poisoning, but the pain you have during the poisoning is just the whole time you're dying in excruciating pain. So I really hope they put him into a medical induced coma, but I don't know. So his family raised over $200,000 to bring him home. I'm so glad that they were able to do that. Yeah, and they're under investigation. So the student who was with him at the time is a female. I'm not sure if she's also Australian. I say so because they're refusing to extradite her back here to Australia, which means they will be investigating it, and hopefully, if she was the reason he ingested rat poison, she will go to prison. And she can just stay right where she is. I don't want her back here if she is poisoning people. But yeah, that is absolutely horrific, and I feel so sad for the family members who first had to raise that kind of money to get their son here, and then they would have been so hopeful when he got here. But with rat poisoning, there is no going back from that. Once you're poisoned. So unfortunately for that poor family, they're mourning the loss of their child. So I would like to thank you guys very much for watching my channel today, and I hope I haven't made you all too sad. Just remember, there is good in the world as well, and I will be uploading again tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing Fraud Friday, but on a Sunday tomorrow. And I was thinking about doing a missing people's Monday, so like Missing Monday. So if that is something that you would be like super keen on listening to, please let me know in the comments. Like, let me know if that's something that you would think was really awesome to raise. The whole idea is there is a lot of missing people in Australia, and I really would love to raise awareness of those missing people, and try and get some of them home, or at least try and figure out what happened to them. So I would love to do a Missing Monday. Let me know what you think. If you think that is something that you would like to listen to or get behind, I'm more than happy to do it. Or if you have anyone in your family who is missing and you would like to add them to my list, then please do. And I would love to give a voice to the voiceless. I would love to find these people and bring them home. Or at least get it out there so that they are remembered. Because I went on the Crime Stoppers website the other day, and there are so many missing people, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't even know half of these people that and then that song, Runaway Train Never Coming Back, One way on a one-way track was in my head, and I was like, oh, yes, I need to do this. So like I said, I do all this stuff for free, guys, so I try and do as much as I can. So if you could subscribe and share this channel out, I would greatly appreciate your patronage. Yeah, and head on over. Sometimes I do a live on TikTok. At the moment I've been bananaed because someone attacked my daughter and myself, fat shaming me and calling, which I was, you know, it's neither here nor there. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. But I was really quite upsetty spaghetti when they attacked my daughter from being gay, and I just lost it. I lost it and I was bananaed. That was worth it. Hashtag worth it. So yeah, I'll be back up next week and hopefully be doing lives then. I know we can do lives on here, but I need 1,000 followers first. So let's get them followers and subscribers up. And without further ado, I say thank you very much for your time today. And I shall see you tomorrow. Well, you shall see me tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Mwah! Kisses! Anyway, this is Lillian, just showing you her before I hop off. Isn't she pretty? She's going to be so loved by the person who bought her. Oh, and if you would like to buy a blanket, if you would like to purchase one of my lovely creative blankets, then please inbox me. By all means, inbox me. All right, have a wonderful day. Bye.